M in. This will be M. This is the front porch area from here. This is the plane of the plane of the building right here. The end of the garage is here. It appears they've got a lot of sand stockpiled up onto the ramp. There's part of the ramp there. So this is your front KL, and this is the in plane. So in, that would be the one that everyone says just disappeared. It seems like they're not picking on it at all. If we look over here, you see this is the rebar that was developed out of the pile caps, and it's still pretty rigid and tall. Then more rebar goes on top of it, tying into the column. These have been removed apparently. They were there. Now you're looking at water. But here's your in, the one that's supposed to, everyone says, just disappeared, buckled, or theorize that. Now, so this would be K right here. And it's that other K would be offset from here, right about here. I think these are the other K. Here's your plane. It's the corner of the structure where that fracture, where the cars parked here above. This is the garage, obviously, the lower garage. Where that plane is, the planter box would be out here. And if I can pull back a little bit, which I can, there's the shear wall. The shear wall is what's left behind in the, as you see that elevator shaft. That's the shear wall system. And you can see, of course, they had imploded, so we have data on that. Now we go to the back wall, and you see they removed block at this point, panels, if you will. They panelized it. There's some panels on the floor there where they removed the wall in sections. They cut out samples and core samples back to the steel, and they're just doing their evaluation. They're just trying to debunk that it's vibration. They're trying to get the most data they can. Now, I saw a guy that's a real estate salesperson, a broker, if you will, in Florida, and he was like, "Hey, it's because the pool deck, the deck underneath the pool failed. The deck underneath the pool failed. We know that not to be true, but they don't even care. Used car salesmen are terrible." Now, this is from a website, engineering record. They're always behind the 8 ball, and they follow the narrative. So if you do sign in here, you become a member. The video taken from a nearby building, which has been widely studied, is helpful, but it starts a few seconds in the collapse. Right, Kilsheimer is at the site since June 25th. Says he hopes other videos will surface, including the one that shows the very beginning of the collapse. The one video we have doesn't give you 3D view of the building, he says. Okay, so he's hoping that the deck there. Why I come to this, I want you to notice this black. That's the roof. All right, let's just cut to the chase. That's the roof. Over here, that's the roof. Okay, but remember that you had a report. The engineer gave a report at one point, and he showed the stones, the granules, the pea gravel, and they look like this color here, this tannish color. You can see this is going to be a multiple layer of a hot tar roof, if you would call it that, and base sheets and fiberglass insulation board. I'll get into that more in depth. They removed all the stone already. Even up here, the stone has been removed. Why is that important? Because I'm going to segue into the video. Again, and that video I'm going to hit it multiple angles. You can pause it multiple ways. Now here is just surface parking zone of interest. An area of interest in is the surface parking zone near the lobby entry drive that goes partly under the remaining wing. That slab of the parking, which is next to the grade level pool deck, is the roof of a one-level basement garage that fills the site entire footprint. Well, it doesn't fill the site's entire footprint because at one point it's a pool deck, it's a parking garage area, and when it meets the building, it steps up and becomes part of the internal flooring of the first floor. So engineering record is usually have terrible writers. Engineering news record. The writers should be any articles are they're sloppy to me. But here's your the roof, what it looked like before. See all that on there? That matters because what's left is black. Black is going to help us out in the video. Let's see if I can just segue to it. So I'm going to first scroll this. I want you to look here. All right. I'm going to scrub it slowly. I can control it as soon as it loads. As soon as it knows I'm on this page. Okay, here we go. So now we're looking at black right here. There's your black. Here's your black here also. Now let me first, before I change colors and things like that, let's just go again. Oh look, there's another shade of black, another black revealing itself. I theorize that. Okay, I've got to go outwards on this now. Sorry guys, let me go back out of this one. And bear with me. So we're going to go back into the building. Back to the building. So this is that black. I theorize we're looking at the black going over to here and then to here. Remember I have this rotating section here in one of my videos? And now for 2 weeks they're all been blocked from being published. I can't take them out of private. I can do it when 2 weeks is up apparently per YouTube's communicating with me. So in 2 weeks when they allow me to be a human again, when they've taken me out of timeout, I can. Well, they said it'll be fixed by you by the time you get timed out. Yeah, they said they didn't do it, but it will be fixed by the time you get timed out. So isn't that amazing? They don't do that. They told me. Yeah, well, we can't figure out what's wrong with it, but we'll have it fixed by the time you get timed out. Sure. All right, it's just gaslighting crap. All right, look, this is now, as you're looking here, it's this stone color, the granules. And see how this has granules on the roof? They're all gone. It cleaned off the roof for the most part, except for around the AC units. Because you should realize that this granules, these are granules. The stones, the pea stones are set in a hot mop. They're not just scattered there and laid on the roof. It's hot mopped and then they're embedded. So it took some effort to remove them, and they've been removed. This area, as I've been reminded, working with Charles, he helped me find the documents again, resurfacing them for me. This was a re-roof, this was. But nevertheless, it was re-roof, they took the stones off. So I want you to look at the black again, but this time I want you to look at it with this black coming to here to here. Now let's move this over. Let's see if I can move it over one tab and make it closer to us. Yeah. So, yeah, let's see if I can move this up into the corner for you. Okay. So now I'll move this over. And I don't need all that building, just that much. So as you look here to your left with my mouse, this section I believe is approximately here and maybe even over to here. But you notice what's not there, it's missing a gap. This is what I theorized, the section that went down first. Remember I talked about pulling and the reinforcement? I theorized this section went down first, and this is your next section, as you indicate with the black. I believe this is what you're looking at, this white, is the white wall here. It's approximately 10, 12 foot tall. And we're looking at the other, well, I'll reveal more in this. So this comes across. But we're looking at some black in the front here also. And so that can only be this section here, kind of hanging on a bit. Let's see if we can do that now. Put it back. So as our video begins, it begins here, but we're missing this rest of this penthouse. This is the penthouse that comes over further. The penthouse is gone now. Per this video, it started. It's missing. let's do this. Let's move this over. And, oops. It's a little different on each device I use how to do commands with this. Okay. So now orienting you this way. And going back to the video, you see that, and I'll put it like this. This section appears to be here, this section. So this section appears to have already collapsed down. And so we're looking at black. And it's going to rotate, so our black is somewhere here, somewhere about here over. I don't see that piece of white. But this is already engulfed down to O. As you remember, I put in a video, it's been going on 2 years now almost. I talked about A. It develops over to O. This is the O line, I believe. And is back here. Whoa. No, O is here. This is N, O is here. So this is N. So it is N rather. And I think I made a mistake before on that. Alright, so correction on that. That's N. And oh, how do you tell? So this is K. This is just a planter box, not sitting on top of a column. This will be L and M, and you just line it back. So there's L and there's M. Slight bit of offset, but also a step up. Okay. Let's go back to this again. This, not this. So now we look at the video again, as you can see there. This is what's left. This column here, and whoops. I'm going to have to move it over. Actually, I'll zoom out on this one. I need to get over to it. This is what's left. This section here. So we have a huge development when the building rattled. This part failed. Now, I showed you in the video before I got blocked. Oh, it's on Rumble. I think the earthquake one's still on Rumble. It's a different floor. Each floor can fail differently. I'll give away in this video that they had core samples of this roof. I don't know where they were, but per the engineer, a professional engineer that stamped the notification, stamped this document, it states the PSI of this roof is 2,500 PSI. Let me see if I can find my text message real quick where I sent it to Charles showing this is the smoking gun for the roof failure. And so I want to make sure I can get the a little more that I don't mess up, like it's not 4,500 when I said 25. So just look at it real quick and confirm. Yeah, 2,500. So the document says it says approved assessment, deck description, 2,500 PSI, structural concrete or concrete plank, and that's a stamped engineer in Florida. So they took a core apparently and determined it was 2,500 PSI up here. So I don't need to look far for this roof rattling of the building in the roof. I don't know if he took it down here or up here, but it states the roof is 2,500. Is the entire roof 2,500? Let me take a drink here. I'm trying out some pH water just for the hell of it. Just experimenting. So the 2,500 PSI engaged with the columns is not very much for it. It was expected much higher. I think it was 4,500 at that floor level. Now let's go ahead and bring the video back over. So you see at this point we're starting the video. We're missing this section here. All right, it's gone. And it's a shear plane over to here, if you will. I don't know if it can engulf even further, and we're looking at that, but I think it shear planed itself off. There's the shear wall right about here somewhere. I would theorize at the roof level they changed the shear wall for the elevators, for the stairs, to block. I just theorize that. I don't know it to be true. Now, this is in one of the videos I show that this parapet wall here is the Let me rotate. I'll draw over. So the parapet wall here, I show that the this wall here, and I'll release it. You know what? I'll release it on this channel. So it comes this way, and it turns, and I think it makes another turn again. There's this section here that's laying in the debris across the floor here. Now, if it went all to the front, well, that would have torn. This would have rotated towards us, torn the duct off, as I showed you in my cardboard model. It did not. It rotated away, and then towards us, or straight down. Even in this collapse, I told Charles how this one piece of railing that's over here, around the fourth floor down, explains that part of the building fell forward towards the street. And it was able to tag a piece of railing, and at one piece of railing, if you look for the debris at the building, after the collapse, look at the wall, and you'll find one piece of railing that's sticking back out towards the street, indicating that when this part of the structure above it, when it went down, it was able to bend the railing away towards this direction. Every single piece of material in this collapse has a history of how it failed. It's up to you to figure it out. But everything can be explained if you want to dive into it. Because it happened. And then even that piece of railing that sticks out, unless the fireman moved it, which I doubt. Okay, but I'll leave that open. So the granule's missing here now. So we're going to look at a black roof now, not a. Okay. So let's get you back to the black roof again. So there's the granules. I think we have the collapse one up here. We're looking at a black roof now, black roofing system. Even black up top. No longer looking at gray. So you have an indication here when you look over here that you're going to be when you're starting to see the roof. Everything else is the color you see it. So when you see black, it's loading, guys. Give it a moment. When I say guys, it's universal. All right, so now we see that right about there, we start seeing the roof represent itself. Now, once you see right there, the plane of this roof, it's right there. And now, you're going to see more roof develop to the left. We're already seeing the top of the roof, literally, so we're looking above the parapet, unless the parapet came off, which I doubt. We're looking above onto the roof section here, but on that probably penthouse area there. And at one point, you're going to see just a little more development to the left. And this shows you that section. So it's not collapsing behind us, it's collapsing in front of us. Now we're going to see the section to the left. There we go. So still holding on over to here. At this point, we can't see. At one point, I'm going to show you something that's very beautiful. So I'm going forward. And now we have another black section of roofing. So that's already removed there. I don't think that's roofing. I think that's an anomaly with my coloration. I'll make it red and show you in a moment. But now I'm going to rotate some more. So I believe this is the wall right here, the corridor wall, still in place. And as it rotates, there's the top of the corridor wall. We're looking at the top. Why I know we're not looking at the roof is because okay, let's pretend like that's a roof. That means I should never see another secondary bump of roofing. This should be all the way back to where she was filming on the one street, where she was filming from this side. So here's my wall right here. So then I should not see more roofing, perhaps. But let's go here. So I'm going to slide, and right about now, look, watch this. See the angle now? Now I'm getting an angle. Remember that we have that floor that stays intact, but now I'm getting an angle of the corridor. So it's the corridor, and there's the rotation. Part of it's still holding on, and this freezes from the ductwork. We're looking at the roof now. Ductwork I would consider probably free by now because we can see the top of the roof from where we are, and you'd have to use some more sophisticated surveying techniques than what I'm doing here. that would tell you what if that elevation, what would you need, when would you finally be able to see it, what degree this would be. You could evaluate that. NIST's got 22 million. They can do it. So this would tell you approximately where it is, what you're looking at. And now let me keep going. And so now you see it's kind of actually holding on pretty good, isn't it? I believe that's the floor holding that like that at that point. But it's still tagged with the parapet wall of the corridor still tagging, I mean holding it. And it's got that one beam going across there, but the beam is coming down, I believe. It's punched through it. Now it's still holding on. See, that's still that roof section I think I'm talking about, the corridor. It turns to the left. Still holding on, but now the building is engulfing more, and now your roof is much further down. It is really holding on. Remember I said how it burst? It held on for a while and burst. Now here's a reveal coming up on you. This right here. I believe that's a column that you're looking at, and then it's going to disappear. Okay, so it's developed and gone. And that's a column showing that. So the sensor couldn't pick it all up, but there's the column, and then it fades away. But now let's go back to the roof. So there's your roof rotating and pulling down towards apartment 111, let's say. And it's pulling. And now we see more roof over here. Obviously, we're into this building also. There's a column that's maybe right behind, in line with K, perhaps. I'm not going to go too crazy about that, but I wanted you to notice that. Now look how much is tagging on still. It's still holding. That's the roof draped from the corridor. And now all of a sudden I see more roofing behind it. There's the other roof now behind it. This is debris, dust, etc. But now there's the roofing behind it. So there's the corridor. Now that's the rest of that roofing behind it. That's lower down. That's 12 foot down off the elevation height. It's back here. And if I rotate this around more, if I can for you, you'll have maybe a better visual. Let me spin it more. And maybe now you'll see it more visually. That's significant, that height. And now we're looking at this back part. And somewhere about here is a column that I think we see standing proud. And it might be a column right about here. It could be this column right here, which means it's the cross section, the cross beam from here. Let's go back to the content. So that one there, the column right there. Let's go ahead and do this again. All right, so look to your left now. And look to your back. There's the roof rolling over from the back. This is now holding on, and eventually it's obviously going to let go. But it's going to go to the right, I believe, because of the parapet. All right, there's your roofing coming down now. We can see most of it flattened towards us, folding towards us. And it's now the debris field gets me kind of lost in translation. But right here, I think is the AC unit going down. Watch right there. I'm going to go back up. So first the AC unit will be blocked by the wall. Okay. Okay, so it's blocked. And the lights on the top floor there are going to go out. And right behind here, we're going to see the AC units in just a moment. Okay, that's probably your AC unit right there. And then the AC unit gets pulled down. All right, the AC unit is gone. There's your hall lights. Your lights, that's right about the that other corridor that stays. And of course the rest of the structure is not, I'm not going to pound on that one. Now, I know it's a long video, but let me play with colors now. Okay, so we just grab the colors again and help you see it in like more of a blue tone. And you see the corridor, now you see the column. and it's higher up than the roof, so that's why I have that as probably part of the corridor wall. It's higher than that existing roof. Existing roof reveals itself right up to the edge right there. This column appears more proud than that, so I would argue that this column is part of, if I'm this here, it could be visually we could be looking at this one, but you know, so I'm thinking this, you know, I can't rule out this, but I'm more like in line here of these two. Let's think about that. Yeah, you know, the angle and all, again, they could determine it with, you guys can go over and fine tune my stuff. I don't mind that. Now, let's change colors again. Okay. So at one point right about here, I believe we're looking at the end of the end of this wall right here, and as it rotates forward, we're going to see white. That's the backside, what appears as white. Okay, so right here, if you keep your eye on that there, on that edge line, when it rotates over, now all of a sudden you're going to see a white panel right there. I believe that's the backside of that wall rotating over now. Let's see if I can get some whites going up here. So I'm just color boarding it. It's just trying to see what I can do here. Yeah, I want it to stand out. I don't want the blend. I need some contrast. And so I believe you're looking at the back side of that wall at that point. And I'm going to go back. So again, we see the roof rotate down, then to the left. We see it's pulling. Let's just focus on the corridor here. And then rotating over. Now we'll get a flash of that. Let's get some blacks back in there. I'm trying to see what I can do here. Sometimes I can see what the sensor can see a little differently. Yeah, like that, for example. It's pretty defined. And you can see, to prove this, you would look in the debris and see this is kind of forward, but it's still being tagged, held on to. It's going to do a rotation. It changes the that parapet, how it's left behind. Let me go with exposure on this one. Saturation exposure. Let me try something here. Let's see what the reds are. It's just the way it comes out as reds. Alright, so the reds convert my black to blues. Let's look at the blues now. And that would be the parapet wall, the roof, and rotation. And that's the, just making it stand out. That would be wall tags, roof tags, these blue, in that situation. Color fringing is what I'm trying to make it do. Okay. Let me refresh that. Let's just go to exposure. And I think I have these settings already on exposure. Let me see something here. And right there is this column there. Okay, so we see another section now in here, the black up here. And that might be the wall, the face of the wall of the, I keep coming up with this gap right here, which puts me closer to So let's turn this around. Let me turn it around. Bear with me. Bear with me. Which puts us closer to, this is the, again, pulling this back to biasly so, this section right here. I'm totally biased on this position. I got to be careful of that because I just need to keep trying to debunk myself. But the section that we see go down is, huge. It may already be missing, like the section here might be missing. We really might be looking at a section from here to here, over and like that. And this section's already down. Let's look at this again. I can show you in another video where you can see the multiple collapses between the floors there. I don't know if this one shows it. Alright, so back to the roof. So that's your roof you're looking at again. And it's still holding on. So our failure is around the the face columns here. It's still holding on back here until you see it punch through with the punch around the columns. That one column, when I reveal it a little bit further down, right there, it just stands proud. Remember, that's forward of us. That's not, and I believe it's as high as that penthouse, the corridor. This one. And now there's your corridor and your rotation I talk about. Thanks, Charles, for sending. This is supposed to be 1080. They're not low bearing as, like, this is a low bearing one. I think this is a low bearing one. So you can see part of this substructure goes down, and these guys don't give yet. Excuse me. See, they don't give until, watch the, right there. This starts buckling. Right there. So it was supported until then. And same thing with the one with the left. It was supported. So K was supporting, holding it. All the structure driving down. It's not changing its position. It's staying in plane, and so is this one. This is that cap wall, I believe, that's between the two supports. So it buckles out more easily. But these guys on the two ends, I believe this one and this one, are the down to the garage supports. And we slide again to the right, looking at those two. Now she has a bypass right here where this actually slides down without actually moving. Keeping your eye on this one. Does it move? I think it shifts to the left, but I don't see it buckling down yet, meaning dropping. I think materials are going over top of it. We get materials going over the outside of it like this. We're forward of the building at this point. And now we're forward of the plane of the building. And now once again, these two are there. So let's work on the assumption that the column, etc. Do you see, and what you don't see is that you don't see, let's see, this will be around L or M, the column, not punching through the roof here. It's not punching through the roof, so the failure happened on the lower floor rather than the roof over here. And that could happen, like my section over here could go down first. So it could have, this section could go down first and then cause a redirect or pulling down the flooring from that position over to here. Or we can get a failure on the 10th floor when the building rattled. 10th floor then makes this guy drop down in that capacity. So we're going back. We're going to back the video up again. And again, so you're noticing this is around the 9th and 10th floor are supported. And so I could reach down to the 8th floor even, that over to your left, that started pulling down. You can reach on a different floor to start this collapse here. And then these guys seem uniform. It's like this is the penthouse and that would be 11th floor. It seems like 11th and penthouse are moving together. Or you'd have to say that the penthouse pancaked down to the 11th floor roof, not to be confused with the 11th floor ceiling, not to be confused with crushing the 11th floor. Don't get confused with that. The 11th floor, I'll rotate this around. Great. It's not that easy. So the 11th floor is, okay, so, oops. The 11th floor is the penthouse to the left. It's the 12th floor. This is the penthouse over here. This is the only penthouse. This becomes the roof of the 11th floor. So I guess theoretically you could argue if you lived over here, you were in the penthouse, and all this is the penthouse. But the penthouse is, we know it to be this special edition. Oops, wrong direction. So we have the penthouse appears to have, we've got an issue of the penthouse, and see how large that block wall is? That wasn't there in the plans. I recall it was supposed to be railing, and it wasn't supposed to connect like this. For these two floors, we're not supposed to fully connect, wrap around. I think it starts wrapping around at this floor and maybe this one per the plans, but they changed up, obviously. So if we look at that video, we're looking at those two there. Let's move it over. So there's a parapet wall. That's that wall that's here. See how beefy it is? And it goes over to there. That's sheared. That's gone from that section here. But is it here? This is pretty beefy in a distance. It looks pretty beefy in a distance. So the point being is that, is it this one? Did this collapse down to here and we're looking at both of these combined together? Or did they just shift down one, meaning this floor failed, and then these two shift down together? And what we're looking at is combine this parapet and this wall for the penthouse as we look to the left. Or are we seeing these two? Now this plane right across here, and I'm going to shift down, hold on, oops, shift up. So there's a plane, whoa, too much, it's right about here that I think when we get our video, we have, well, when we get our video, this is not presented here to us in that position because it's not clean going across. All right, so if you guys see it, it's not cleanly going across over to there. So it's already down per our video start. So how do we get there? Can we get there by this, the building rattles and it breaks over way up here at the penthouse? It's 2,500 PSI. This is pretty soft concrete up there. Perhaps you could get that's the core sample. Perhaps you could get this floor collapsing and shearing off here and falling down. Would the camera see it then already? Because remember we got that black roof to look at. Would it see it yet? Okay. And then we have, so we're going to look at black roof. This is the black roof. There's no black roof here. So we're looking at black. We're either looking at this section right here, or we're looking at it, this black roof here. So now watch what we do over here now. So the question is, which part of the black roof are we looking at? Right up to the edge, or is it over here? So we'll go back to the roof. We rotate. And you can extrapolate and put it back up. See this section here? You got to lift it back up. Would you put it here? Biasly so, I would put it there. Biasly so, I would put this part as part of the penthouse that's here, but it's rotating together as one down. So this is your penthouse that we're looking at. On this side, well, I show you the white wall. That's the inside wall, I believe, of this right here that you're looking at. And you're looking at a significant section of it. So I would argue it's practically all of it. So we have that. Now I've got this anomaly here, this black, that's my bias, where this rotated out. But I can move it. You know, the building rattled, and I believe it failed at the roof line. That caused the collapse of the structure. I do not believe any column buckled at the building. There's no data that supports that. Initially, it did when you see the building collapse and you have the other bias that the pool deck went down. And so initially, it's instinctive that you to do that, and it's instinctive that you might want to come over here. But I played around with my mind computer, and I could not get that column buckling there and also at the same time start pulling down this roof. I couldn't do it because this column, it doesn't present that way. I had it failing pulling all of this apart before it got to the roof line. Not all of a sudden magically just transfer the load like a hand, just a hanger pulling on one load right here, pulling directly down and pull the roof. Well, you see what happened there. We're over here now, big section. So we have a rattling of the building, earthquake if you will, and the top floor now I'm telling you, is 2,500 psi per core sample, and this is by look at my, blow this up. This was done in June 6th of oh no, it's approved the June 6th in 2020. Okay, I'm going back to this. So I'm going to rotate this down, and there's your roof. So this is your penthouse, I believe, right over there. So you pick your poison as I develop this story for you. But you can see this light, they look pretty symmetrical and even. So you can't pick that floor, I don't think. You might be able to pick something inside, which would be G, I think it is. You might be reaching on that one, but maybe. This looks good, and above that one looks good. And I think I lined this up once already, so this would be like the 9th floor. And I based it off of counting off of here in one of my videos. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8th floor is even here, and then 9th is above it. So I think I went like that. If this is 8th, that's 9th. 10th looks good. So that puts us somewhere around 11th floor failing. 11th floor failing, or you can just say the penthouse failed. Fell down onto that roof, bought some time, fell down onto the roof of the roof or the ceiling of the 11th floor, because it's the 11th floor. So the penthouse fails, collapses here. Shears away pretty cleanly there, we can tell. We do not know if it goes way back into there. Now let me scrub forward. You don't see any lights come on or anything else during that video. Okay. So going backwards. So we have the penthouse, the section there, rotating over. And now we have our corridor. But it's like you can see through the corridor already, the bottom side of it, that you can see through it already. And this tells me again that area, that zone inside here is your failed zone. Your first failed zone, putting it back inside there, this seems to be rotating all together. So around the bush it goes. The first failed zone seems to be in here. And then this gets, because of the reinforcement, pulls down and takes out this section of penthouse. Which again, I'm not sure if this is if these two are rotating down together onto this 11th floor. So this is the ceiling of 11th floor, this is the floor. I'm not sure if these two are rotating together per the video, or is it just this one rotating down to here, and then we watch it progressive from there. What I'm kind of sure of is that we're looking at the black roofing here, that we're looking at the corridor, that we're looking at the face, and then we see a rotation, and then we see a column stand up. I'm going to end the video with showing you that one more time. So penthouse, and over here is it's clouded by debris, dust. You can't see it, but it's probably black roofing. And there's a bit of a shear plane created. It looks pretty clean, doesn't it? But the corridor, face of the corridor, slide over. All right, still holding on at the corridor wall system. So over here, So right about here, remember there's a concrete slab that sticks out. I believe that gives us our hinge point. It allows that to observe here, where it's like you step down, you can see it. But it's still tied there with that parapet, all that steel, it drags it over. And right now you can see the development of the column still. I believe that's the back of the corridor. So it just punched right through it and pulled it all towards us. And there's a reversal as the back wall holds as a tag for it. So first we're looking at more black, and then I believe the reinforcement from the back wall acts as an anchor, pulls it back towards it. But even though we're seeing more black here now, I think we're getting a pull back here now. And maybe that column helped pull it back over when the column disappeared, when it went down, part of the flooring. So go forward, more black wall now, which is really not black wall, I believe. I believe it's roofing that you're looking at. Remember, it's black now. And then we reveal the lights, or behind there, they might be emergency lights. They make it arcs of electric popping out. I doubt if it's arcs of electric. That would be two of them at the same time. So then let's go forward. We got our lights. And a plume coming up. Going to bother us a bit. Looking to the left there at the building. There's a hallway flash. That's the flash of in the hallway in the corridor, I believe, that we see open. And then right there, I think we're looking at the duct system. This duct system here before it rolls over into the ground. And they're right about there. It starts rolling over, I believe. That's probably an arc flash there, maybe, of the electric popping. Now I've got a couple of videos I put in the private room that may know of it. All right, a bunch of arc flashes. Okay, so I sort of want to end the video on that. I just want you to go back in here and you can reevaluate the corridor and all the corridor. Oops. The corridor right here. The roof rotation, the penthouse, the multiple floors. Love you guys. I said I'd get us into the building, and hopefully that gives you some more data about getting into the building. And maybe NIST will get me on shadow ban. Maybe NIST will contact me, say something. All right. Love you guys. Bye. But they're government. I wouldn't hold my breath at all.